Welcome back, dear learners, to another lesson. Today's lesson will focus on the inclusion of artificial intelligence tools in collecting, storing, analyzing, and disseminating oral histories. Artificial intelligence has already proven capable in discovering patterns and identifying topics within large visual and textual data sets. Think, for example, of applying algorithms to search and discover correspondence within a vast trove of email messages, or to discover maps, comics, editorial cartoons, and advertisements within digitized historic newspapers. In the process, AI tools have been able to reduce time and improve efficiency for humans during various mundane tasks. The possibilities are only growing. In the case of oral history, AI is rapidly becoming an indispensable tool in the hands of researchers for reducing time and improving efficiency during various tasks of processing, analyzing, and indexing data, adding more layers and depth to their works. AI tools for oral history are primarily used to increase efficiency in transcriptions, processing, analysis, and accessibility of recordings rather than for the initial collection phase. Key tools include general speech to text models like OpenAI's Whisper and dedicated platforms such as Their Story. As more historical resources occupy digital formats, whether through digitizing processes or through born digital means, machine learning algorithms will become a necessary tool for conducting historical research. Artificial intelligence, in other words, influences both social activity as well as the work of doing history, and in so doing, emerges with historical consciousness. To ponder the effects of artificial intelligence on the field of history quite often requires interrogating fundamental concepts such as truth, evidence, and authenticity. Today's lesson has three primary sections. The first unit will focus on new tools available in the digital market that are making the lives of oral historians a little bit easier. We will outline names, primary uses, key features, cost, and security notes of several of these tools. Next, we learn about human machine interpretations. This type of interpretation is simply the use of AI and digital technologies to analyze, process, transcribe, and index oral history interviews, often in collaboration with human experts. The goal is to enhance accessibility and research possibilities while navigating the inherent complexities of human memory, emotion, and the nuances of spoken language. And finally, in the last section, we discuss questions of authenticity, because the flip side of using AI technology is that spurious materials called fakes and deepfakes in the form of videos, photographs, and even writings often circulate the internet. These are created with malicious intentions, and they dilute the genuineness of stories and testimonies of people, and thus dilute the genuineness of histories itself. The first subsection for today is called AI as a tool in oral history practices. Now, completing an oral history project involves a lot of slow work. To record, archive, and disseminate historically significant interviews, you must establish the project's goals, select narrators, build relationships with them, and prepare and conduct interviews. After recording, the interviews need to be transcribed, indexed, and perhaps edited before being placed in an archive. Then, it's time to analyze the collected information and complete the intended final product, which could be anything from a monograph to a museum exhibit or a web page. AI serves as a powerful tool in oral history for automating transcription, indexing, summarizing, and metadata generation, making vast archives searchable and accessible. At the same time, AI also assists with sensitive data management, analysis like sentiment, and creating new ways to interact with historical narratives. Its primary advantage for a researcher is that it streamlines laborious tasks, enabling sharper focus or interpretation, and for moving beyond traditional one on one interviews to broader digital storytelling and analysis. However, ethical considerations and accuracy remain key challenges, since the domain of AI itself is an emerging technology. AI tools and platforms are used for mainly four functions in oral history. These are transcription. The most common use is converting audio recordings into text, which significantly reduces the time and most compared to manual methods. This makes vast archives more accessible and searchable. For example, the Malak project, funded by the US National Foundation and started by our very beloved director Steven Spielberg. The original idea of the project was to use automatic speech recognition for converting the audio track of the video recordings into text and then perform the search using text based information retrieval techniques on the textual representation. Similar projects which focus on transcription technology are available on the internet and can be used by researchers as and when required according to their projects. Second is analysis. Large language models can help analyze transcripts to identify themes, sentiments, and key entities, that is, peoples, places, organizations, making the history even more denser. These LLMs work by predicting the next word in a sequence for vast amounts of text, that is, books, web pages, articles, through self-supervised learning. They often use something called transformer architecture with attention mechanisms to weigh the importance of different words, allowing parallel processing and better understanding of long texts. Transformers are a type of deep learning model that utilizes self-attention mechanisms to process and generate sequences of data efficiently. They capture long-range dependencies and contextual relationships, making them highly effective for tasks like language modeling, machine translation, and text generation. And lastly, they have billions of parameters, that is, variables, which they have, which enable them for deeper learning and more nuanced understanding of the data sets. The third is indexing and metadata generation. Analyzing transcripts to identify themes, sentiment, and key entities such as people, places, and organizations using the above mentioned tools also aids in indexing and creating rich metadata for archives. Last but not the least is summarizing. AI-powered semantic search engines understand the meaning and context of words, allowing researchers to ask natural language questions and find specific moments within hours of footage rather than relying only on keywords. There are specific tools and platforms for each of these functions. Some tools can perform more than one task too. For the emerging researcher, having a list of AI-based tools and platforms in his or her toolkit is quite handy. Here, I have listed a number of such tools along with their functions and features. Number one is Maestra AI. This browser-based platform supports transcription and summarization in over 125 languages and can handle both uploaded audio-video files and YouTube links. It focuses heavily on accurate transcript-based summaries and offers additional features like keyword extraction, subtitle generation, making it a highly versatile software for archival work. Next is Nota. Highly regarded for its accurate transcription of long-form content, Nota is excellent for turning extensive interviews into readable transcripts and summary notes. It is particularly popular in professional and educational settings for its clean summaries and robust performances with lengthy recording. Next is Weigh-In Video, NoteGPT, or RegCloud. It's called either of the three. These tools, after comprehensive solutions that generate concise summaries, full transcripts with speaker labels, and even mind gaps, they often allow you to chat with the AI about the video's content to get specific, time-stamped answers, which is invaluable for in-depth research of oral histories. Next is Descript, an all-in-one AI video editor that makes editing and summarizing as simple as editing text. You can import a transcript and use AI to generate visuals, create summaries, small videos, or remove filler words, making it ideal for creating engaging highlights from long interviews. Next is Otter.ai. Primarily known as an AI meeting assistant, Otter.ai is effective for generating real-time transcripts and meeting summaries from uploaded files or even live calls such as Zoom, Google Meet, MS Teams, etc. Dear learners, let us now take a short look at how these different programs work or these tools work. That is, what are the steps to be followed while using these tools and platforms? First is upload. Upload your video file or paste the link to where the video is hosted. Second, transcribe. The AI uses automatic speech recognition, often powered by models like OpenAI's Whisper, to convert the spoken words into text. This process is resilient to accents and background noise, which is crucial for older oral history recordings. Summarize. Natural language processing models that analyze the full transcript to identify main ideas, key arguments, and conclusions is conducted. The output is a concise, digestible summary, often with clickable timestamps that link back to the exact moment in the original video. Last is review and export. You can review, edit, and export the summaries and transcripts into various formats, PDF, TXT, etc., or integrate them with other note-taking apps like Notion or Evernote. By automating the transcription and summarization processes, these AI tools significantly reduce the time and effort traditionally required for manual review, making large archives more accessible and searchable for researchers and the public. We have already mentioned this earlier. Of course, tools like Malak, which is a large searchable database as we mentioned above and is a mega institutional project, work differently as a large number of people work together to synchronize data and create durable search options by continuously adding AI transcribed data to the engine. Learners, with every new technology comes not only operating challenges but also humanely ethical considerations. Much like the ethical dilemmas of using nuclear technology or experimenting medicine on mice and rabbits, use of AI, irrespective of the field we use it in, is inevitable. Thus, in oral history too, one requires to face such challenges, and these include data security. Sensitive or confidential information should ideally be processed using offline tools to prevent data sharing with third parties. Accuracy and human oversight. AI generated transcripts and summaries can contain errors, misinterpret dialects, or miss nuances like emotion. Human review and editing are vital to ensure historical accuracy. Third is transparency. Projects should be transparent about which data has been AI generated and ensure that the original voice and content of the narrator remains intact. With this, dear learners, we come to the end of the first subsection of our lesson. We begin with the second, which is called human-machine interpretation. As the usage of AI tools rapidly increase in research methods, reducing the time required for laborious tasks such as transcribing and indexing, there is a need to regulate the outputs produced by these tools, as there may be various machine-made errors in interpretations and inconsistencies with analysis. Human oversight, therefore, becomes essential to correct errors and inconsistencies. Thus, human-machine interpretation in the context of oral history refers to the use of artificial intelligence and digital technologies along with human intelligence to analyze, transcribe, index, and provide access to oral history interviews alongside human oversight. This interaction is a key area of research within the digital humanities. It is needed to unravel layered aspects of a historical phenomena that either AI tools or the human eye alone might miss out and create denser historical narratives. For example, a primary application of machine interpretation is the use of automatic speech recognition systems to create transcripts of oral history interviews. While ASR systems have improved significantly, they still produce word error rates that require human review and correction, especially with spontaneous or noisy recordings. Similarly, human intervention is required in AI interpretations to reflect the biases present in the datasets used to train the AI. Researchers emphasize the need for critical human review of AI-generated content to ensure cultural appropriateness, accuracy, and avoid digital coloniality, which might reproduce Eurocentric perspective. Thus, digital humanists are exploring how technology can help researchers move beyond text-based transcripts to engage with the oral and sonic affordances of interviews, example, tone of voice, pauses, body language, etc. Furthermore, researchers are exploring the possibility of automating oral history collection. For example, Brett A. Halperin tested how using AI for collecting interviews might work in a project about housing insecurity. He found that the absence of human-to-human connection to be both the most significant benefit and peril of AI use. He used the Wizard of Oz prototype that simulated interaction with an AI but instead relied on a limited bank of canned questions and reactions. Halperin found that for some narrators, talking to a robot instead of a human elevated anxiety, fear, and shame. They didn't feel judged. At the same time, narrators lamented the lack of human connection. Dear learners, absence of human connection is not a minor issue when it comes to oral history best practices. Good oral history interviews address positionality and work on creating rapport and building relationship with narrators to improve story sharing experience. In contrast, AI cannot recognize social context and develop relationships. Moreover, oral history interviews cannot comfort when narrators recall difficult experiences that bring forth intense emotions. Language models can do so to a certain extent, but it's artificial and AI cannot convey empathy in the variety of ways human beings can, beyond just words. One solution may be to further strengthen language models, reinforcing them with sophisticated codes to recognize context behind voice modulations. Futurists suggest something called artificial empathy by training AI to recognize, interpret, and respond to human emotional cues using effective computing via NLP texts, audio analysis, and image processing. It involves data-driven learning from huge data sets, mimicking empathy through context-aware responses, voice modulation, and appropriate reaction to stimulate understanding, making interactions more natural and supportive. However, although AI may be able to help elevate crucial voices in certain scenarios, the benefits of traditional oral history collection far outweigh the advantages of automation in most cases. Furthermore, as oral histories of human societies by default should have a human touch instead of being artificially generated, because we are an intelligent species, and to be able to compile histories of one species is the natural progression of any such intelligent species. This does not mean that AI cannot be used or cannot be useful for other stages of an oral history project. Indeed, even as AI tools continue to climb into the toolkit of researchers of oral history, making their methods more diverse and their tasks less cumbersome, there remain several challenges. The goal is to use technology as a tool to enhance human understanding and interpretation, not replace it. In the process, introduction of these technologies has sparked new methodological discussions within the field of oral history, focusing on maintaining ethical practices, ensuring authenticity, and critically evaluating how human narrators and machine algorithms co-create historical understanding. Let us discuss some key areas where machine-human interpretation is crucial to ensure accurate data generation. These may include: number one, automatic speech recognition and transcription technology. As mentioned above, ASR systems are used to automatically transcribe audio recordings of interviews into texts. This helps make the content easily searchable and accessible over the web. However, challenges exist in achieving human-level accuracy, especially with spontaneous, noisy, or distorted speech, as human transcribers can still outperform machines in certain contexts. Next is sentiment analysis and emotion recognition. Machines can help categorize and index emotions and sentiments within interviews, which is valuable for understanding the role of feelings in historical remembering. However, human perception of emotion is often subjective and ambiguous, creating challenges for machine learning systems to perfectly capture the subtle, multi-layered facets of human emotion. Metadata generation and indexing. AI tools such as large language models are being explored to generate descriptive metadata for oral histories, which can assist in organizing and retrieving information from vast archives. This speeds up the process of making collections searchable and discoverable by researchers. Of course, over here too, we need human intervention. Collaborative workforce. Human in the loop. The most effective approach often involves a human-machine collaboration. Human review of machine-generated content is considered essential to ensure accuracy, cultural appropriateness, and ethical considerations. The human role in interpretation and analysis remains crucial for contextualizing the experiences and narratives in the broader socio-political and historical milieu. With this, dear learners, we come to the end of our second subsection and begin with the last. And in this final part of today's class, we will learn about something called authenticity in AI-generated data. What are the challenges towards this end and how best to tackle them? We already know that AI enhances oral history by making large archives searchable, summarizing content, and improving accessibility. But its authenticity is challenged by inherent biases, hallucinations as they call it in the technical term, and failure to capture non-verbal cues like emotion, silence, etc. It requires careful human oversight, source checking, and validation to ensure the integrity and accuracy of human stories maintained, rather than letting AI replace the nuanced interpretation of lived experience. Let us explore some of these authenticity-related challenges in oral history. The first one is bias and hallucination. AI models can reproduce societal biases or generate inaccurate fabricated details called hallucinations. This is an issue that is most persistent with data generated through AI. Every day, we hear of stories where AI-generated videos have been used to malign individuals, incite communal tensions, or cause public nuisance. In case of oral history data too, such cases happen when malicious intents of agencies morph videos, alter words, and deliberately show bias. Such cases can distort the intent, content, and ethics of the histories being produced. Second, there can be a loss of nuance. This means that the lack of recognition of strong emotional responses, especially in non-verbal elements like tone, emotion, laughter, and pauses, and which are important in human storytelling, can alter, distort vital emotional elements crucial for the history being reconstructed. Thirdly, AI summarizes but does not inherently grasp the subjective truth or lived experiences, requiring historians to verify outputs against original sources. Therefore, how does one ensure authenticity of the data generated? By using AI tools and platforms. To find out, let us explore some points. The first one would be to keep humans in the loop. That is, critical verification of AI-generated transcripts and summaries against original audio are essential through human supervision. Next is transparency, as researchers need to be clear about where AI was used and its limitations in analysis. Researchers need to clearly state in their methodology where and for what tasks were AI tools used. Furthermore, he or she needs to clarify in their analysis about the parts generated by AI interpreters and what opinion does the researcher have about it. It is extremely important, especially in view of deepfake videos, photographs, and recordings being produced through AI tools, that AI be used for truthful discovery and organization. But ultimately, researchers must rely on human historians for interpretation and validation of meaning and context. Having outlined the various challenges that AI generated data brings with it as baggage, one cannot deny the endless possibilities that AI brings for the future of humankind, including its writing its history. Among the many benefits of AI, if one is careful enough about authenticity, we may outline enhanced discovery. AI can process vast audio video archives to find patterns, create indexes, and summarize content, making histories more accessible. Improved accessibility. AI tools help in transcribing, translating, and tagging recordings, opening archives to broader audiences. Efficiency. Automated tasks like transcription and content analysis frees historians for deeper interpretive work. These are just a few of the many advantages AI can bring. It is time for oral historians to gradually accept this emerging trend and embrace it, albeit with a pinch of salt. And with this, we come to the end of our discussion on the topic AI and oral history. Dear learners, I hope you all enjoyed the class. Thank you.